I'm still slowly getting over it. It's taking me quite a while. But once Mum got married, he started to change, started being abusive, started doing little things like kicking me, nudging me. He finally did get away. It was a very tough night for me, my mum, and my brother at the time. And we had to run on bare feet. I was in my boxers. My mum was holding my brother as far as I can remember. We were all on bare feet and we were just trying to get away from there as fast as possible.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our third podcast episode of Coerce the System, Not Each Other. I just thought I'd give a quick recap of the episodes we have already filmed. So our first one, we had Rachel Carter in talking to us about coercive control, healthy relationships, and red flags, what to look out for if you think you might be in a coercive relationship. We also had Ali Moore, and she spoke to us about her new platform she's launching called Tika and how they're using AI to catch serial perpetrators of sexual violence, as well as her book, No Words for This. Our third episode today, we're going to be sitting down with a young man named Jacob Griffiths. And I just thought I'd bring Erica in because she knows a lot about him. So would you mind giving us a little rundown about Jacob?
Hey, thanks, Ara. So I met Jacob like 5 years ago. There was a news article about him and his family, and he had started a petition that had raised over 25,000 signatures on it. Essentially, he was a victim of abuse and he went through the justice system. And because of his age, they put automatic name suppression on him. And he felt that name suppression hindered him from being able to tell his story. So although he tried to get his name suppression dropped, the court would not allow him to drop his name suppression. And the more I learned about Jacob and how young people fit into the system, the more interested I became. So when you wanted to talk about this campaign, I thought, I know exactly one of the people you should interview. And so I'm real excited that we'll be interviewing Jacob today. And yeah, I haven't seen him in a long time, so it'll be good to hear about where he's at and where things have gone.
Today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Jacob Griffiths to get some background on his story and his petition for changes to the criminal justice system, with particular focus around change for young victims. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So, I understand you and your family suffered 6 years of domestic violence at the hands of your stepfather. This would have been a lot for a young child to process. Are you able to give us some understanding of what the situation was like for you as a young child?
Yeah, so we should begin on this. So I don't know how much Erica's told you, but a few years ago, we escaped from my stepfather, my mum's ex-partner. He was super abusive. He would So this is quite difficult to talk about. I've had a lot of issues trying to get over a lot of the stuff that happened. Things, including like beating me and my younger brother, strangling, punching. That was over a period of 6 to 7 years. It's something that you don't really get over. I'm still getting over it. It's taking me quite a while. But once Mum and Lee first started dating, got married, he started to change, started being abusive, started doing little things like kicking me, nudging me. And so it progressed worse and worse over time. And he slowly separated us from our family. So we moved quite a far distance. And once he did that, it's when it started getting really bad, started getting really abusive. A lot of, and at the time he was doing it sneakily away from my mum. So she wouldn't know. And as soon as my younger brother got born, she started getting into abuse too. And it got really bad for her and myself to a point where we had to try to escape. We did eventually escape off. And after that, it even got worse because we went to my grandmother's at the time to stay there, and we got a protection order on him. We called the police, but sorry, give me a second.
Take your time.
I think what you're highlighting is that when something traumatic happens, you can go through all these steps to heal, but actually that trauma is still there. So even though you've moved on, your life has changed, you're out of the situation, the effects of that are still with you. Young people we talk to kind of say the same things. They feel like everything's fine, but then it creeps up in relationships. It creeps up in different ways. And the first episode of the series Ara did was around coercive control. And you touched on that in the very beginning of what you said, the way that the relationship unfolded with your mom, like that is a very much coercive control kind of relationship that then they isolate you, And so I just think you're really brave for coming on and even doing this. So I really am grateful and appreciative for you coming on this with us.
I didn't realize it still had this much of an effect on me. I thought I'd gone over it and I haven't really looked or gone into it much. So I thought I'd fully fixed it. Don't think about it, stuff to the back of my mind, but every so often it does creep up. And you're right when it comes to as you were talking about earlier, he was very good at manipulating. He was really good at tricking us and changing things and slowly forcing us away from our family without us knowing it. And that put us in a tough spot when we needed to escape. Because a few times it got really bad and we had nowhere to go and we were trapped.
Wow.
That happened. That was like that for years. And once we finally moved back to Waihi, and he said he changed, he said he fixed himself and was really good being, manipulative. But he never actually changed. He was good for a little bit, but then he'll start reverting back to what he used to like, what he used to be like, sorry. And then it's got worse and worse. And then that we finally did get away. It was a very tough night for me, my mum, and my brother at the time. And we were like 20 minutes drive from the nearest town, and we had to run on bare feet. I was in my boxers. My mum was holding my brother as far as I could remember. We were all bare feet, and we were just trying to get away from there as fast as possible. And luckily, our neighbour came and picked us up and took us to our grandmother's at the time, and we were somewhat saved. Not long after we got there, he rocked up and drunk, really drunk. Some drove there, started pounding the doors. Luckily, we called the cops. The cops came. They couldn't really do much other than saying you can't really go inside and talk to us. But then they saw that he'd been drinking and they managed to arrest him over drink driving.
Thank you for describing to us how that would have been and how, traumatizing that was as a young person. Do you know how long your stepfather's original sentence was and then what it was reduced to when the police decided to drop some of the charges in the plea deal?
Oh, I haven't really, this is quite a while ago. I recall it was quite a long time, but I know it got dropped to 3 years, and from 3 years, he got out after like 3 months of actually being in prison.
We are seeing that pattern a lot with cases of abuse. You get charged, for 3 years and then you're out. It's not really much of a deterrent, to stop them from doing this again.
Pretty bad. We never find out until the day he got released. We got called from prison saying he's being released, and we're like, what the hell? Why he should be there for now, like 3-4 years? They made that plea deal. That's what we were tracking. He got the 3 years. All my charges that I had against him, all my brother's charges got dropped, so he got way less time. Then after like 3 months, he got taken out of prison. And then after that period, he got given self-deportation. So he was in the country for like another year before he actually finally deported himself.
Do you know what the charges were against him? Do you remember some of the charges?
All I know, the list was huge. It was mainly against children,
Yeah.
adult versus child and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And assault, lots of that. And damn, this stuff really does creep on you.
It does, eh?
And like not being able to remember it, it's like a self-preservation mechanism, right? Like our brain wants to protect us, so we block it out and all of that stuff.
I do apologize. I haven't thought about this stuff in a while, and I had read through the questions, and I thought I would remember it, but obviously it's just gone.
Yeah, it's crazy how like the trauma responses work. It just creeps up on you, and you just don't know what triggers you till it happens. It's insane, like how the body works. There's like a book called The Body Keeps the Score. It's kind of reads into all of these responses that we have and that our body never truly forgets,
I have a question. When all of this stuff was happening, so it took you 6 or 7 years for you guys to finally leave. And then when you escaped, and then I met you, I think, before the trial, and the courts gave you mandatory name suppression and you didn't want your name suppression. And then you spoke out because you wanted to tell your story because you felt like it was silencing you further. Do you think you can talk to us about that, like how the charges happened and then you got automatic name suppression and you didn't want it?
Yeah. So at the time, I was want to tell my story, and we didn't know that automatic name suppression was actually like a proper thing. I didn't realize at the time that I was not allowed to speak about myself and my experiences. So once I started talking about that, I had to talk from the police about I can't do this because I'm under the certain age and you're breaching your own name suppression, which what I found was very I'm sorry, I'm completely honest here. Really shit. It really just does not make sense in any way possible because how can someone breach their own name suppression?
Yeah.
So I got told pretty much I couldn't. I tried to fight it and I pretty much got told, no, you're under 18. You cannot talk about what happened to you. And I felt like shit. I couldn't actually talk about what happened. I couldn't tell my story at all. Couldn't tell people about it.
And this is why you started the petition, just because you did find it crazy that you couldn't talk about yourself and your own story. So you thought that other young people would feel the same way, being silenced and their story can't be shared. So you wanted to help them if they felt comfortable to share their story and have the power back, because it is your story. So you should be able to speak about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why. The fact that it was just, we couldn't talk about anything. We weren't allowed, I wasn't allowed to, Mum wasn't be allowed to. And then once his name suppression got dropped, Mum went all out, but I was not allowed to, and I felt awful. I couldn't.
So she was able to speak about it.
But
When was that? Sorry, when was she able to speak about it?
I believe it was after the court cases and the news articles were written on it, but I was still unable to talk about it because of my own name suppression at the time.
And so being given the automatic name suppression, then I think I read on your petition page that the Crown prosecution took a plea deal without telling you guys, and you guys were quite shocked about that, as well as then him getting let out after 3 months. I recently just learned as a survivor or young people going through the system, they're quite shocked to find out that the lawyer assigned isn't actually their lawyer, it's a Crown prosecution, and you're actually just a witness in the case. Do you think that kind of plays into that they weren't on your side?
I didn't actually realize that till now. I knew it was a Crown prosecutor, and we thought he was our lawyer. Well, at least I did. But obviously now I know he wasn't. Mum might know different, but I was tracking that he was meant to be our lawyer fighting for us. But that makes a lot of sense because our lawyer at the time wasn't the best. He was like falling asleep during court and stuff. And he obviously that secret deal was made and we weren't aware. It just happened and we got told about it. And how my younger brother's charges, got dropped, and only one just went through, and that's why he got less time, and he got out after like 3 months.
Yeah. I was quite shocked to learn that as well, because I'm studying law, but when it got framed to me like that, I was like, wait a second, I've actually never stopped to think that, yeah, the Crown prosecutor is working on behalf of the Crown and not on behalf of you.
I honestly was not aware of that at all.
Did breaching your name suppression have an impact on the charges being dropped?
I'm unaware. Like, as I said, it was a secret deal. We didn't get told what actually happened. All we know is he got less jail time.
Interesting. When you launched your petition, New Zealand Kids Matter, to reform legislation around harm to children, what were your other key aims around the campaign? So we've already spoken to the name suppression aims. Was there other motivations behind your campaign?
I wanted to tell my story. I wanted to tell the world what it was like, how it happened. We didn't feel safe. We felt unsafe once we found out he was released from prison. We feared for our lives. We were really concerned. Luckily, he never came back and we never had to deal with him other than knowing that he was free in the country, and that made us concerned. We were always looking over our shoulder because when he originally going through the prosecutions and stuff, he would nonstop hound us. We thought he'd break into our house, that we'd see him like out and around way. We'd see him like drive past our house. He would rock up and knock on the door and then leave not shortly after. Knowing how psycho he was at the time and knowing that he would probably want to kill us, he we were just fearing for our lives. Like it never actually anything like that happened. We were just freaking out once we found out. Even worse, we found out on the day. Oh,
Yeah, I think that's also interesting. I only became aware of that recently is once they're out or their bail conditions is over, they actually can go all over the country.
and the fact that he got open deportation, so he had to deport himself, was even worse. So he had spend as much time as he wanted in country. I know the law stated he got a certain time to self-deport, but he was in there a lot longer than he was meant to.
So there was no enforcement of that time frame whatsoever.
Not that we were aware of.
Interesting.
All definitely in country after the time frame, I'm pretty sure.
Is there anything you wish could have happened or you wish that existed for you and your whānau that would have helped you in your situation? Or anything that could have happened differently?
From my personal experience, I wish we had more support at the time when we knew there was more support out there at the time. The most I got was counselling. And to be honest, the counsellor was not the best. I would rock up to counselling. She would never be there. She never was there. The only time I saw her like 3 times. And that was it. I'll rock up there every week, hoping that she'll be able to help me. Didn't help me. We felt alone. We felt like we were unsupported.
Do you think the fear you had as a young person led you to join the army? And what role has the army played in building your confidence? Because you said you've been in the Defence Force for the last 4 years. So do you think that has had a impact on your confidence and building that back up?
It definitely has. The army has helped me quite a lot. I originally wanted to join the army because I wanted to do something with my life. I wanted to bring my life back onto track, and it's made me definitely a better person. It's definitely strengthened my resolve, and it's got me a lot better at communicating, being able to actually discuss things like this. It's definitely made me a better person. It's one of the best jobs I've had, and it's one of the best decisions I've made in my life to join the Defence Force.
From speaking with Erica, she did mention that you originally wanted to join the police force, but instead decided to join the New Zealand Army. What was your reasoning for that? And have you recently had a change of heart?
Yeah, so I originally wanted to join the police, but I decided not to, thinking I should go to the army first for a few years and then go to the police. So then now it's been a few years, and now I'm currently looking at going back into the police. I've started my application again. I want to get into the domestic violence unit and to help other families that have been going through those struggles, because I know how difficult it can be. I'm unsure about the support now, but no, the support like I had at the time was not the greatest. So I can come in with that support and help those in need.
Yeah, that's awesome. Then we definitely need more people like you. I feel like the system is reactive rather than proactive. Like you are bringing the concerns to them now, but it hasn't happened yet. But they're going to wait for the reaction. But then the trauma and the effects of that, it's already happened now. And we were asking you for help prior to that.
Damage has already been done at that point.
Yeah, exactly. One final kind of question around your petition, if that's all right. Are you happy with the results of your petition? Because you got around 25,000 signatures, and that's a lot for a young person. We know adults who have gotten, I think, aid or funding who have had roughly the same amount of signatures. So for you as a young independent person, that's amazing.
Yeah, it definitely was a shock to get so much of a following. I was not expecting so many people to react the way that they did. And the support we were getting from the community once we started the New Zealand Kids Matter and the petition. It was definitely a shock. We had a lot of people try to donate money to us, but at the time we didn't want to take any donations. This was just us saying, we want this to change. We want people to know what happened and what's been happening in our country.
Did you have a strategy for going out and getting people to sign your petition? Like if there was another young person listening to this who wanted to start a campaign or a petition, how would you recommend to them to go about getting that many signatures?
I just told my story. That's all I did. I just told my story. did it in a way where I knew I wasn't getting in trouble for it. I didn't tell them who I was. I just put my story out there. And then it got shared heaps and it just blew up.
Yeah. Social media is such a good tool nowadays, where it's just once it's on a roll, it's on a roll and it's everywhere.
Yeah, it definitely spread a lot quicker than we believed it would. It was definitely a shock to how quickly people reacted to it.
How are you and your family doing nowadays?
So my mum and brother have been doing really well. Mum's got through all her trauma and stuff from what happened over those 6-7 years. My brother has recovered as well. He went through some of that as well because he was his biological full child, and he went through some of the last later years what happened. Unfortunately, Tamaho, my young brother, he got a traumatic brain injury from the abuse we suffered. He will never be able to see properly again. He's partially blind. The world goes fuzzy when he moves fast. He will never be able to properly write again, or pretty much he'll have to have a carer for the rest of his life. But he's doing really well. He's doing heaps of running races. He's been competing in Colgate games. He's been heaps of gold medals. He's going different running events around the country and beating most of the adults, which is really mean. My mum's doing really well. She's been helping out in our community quite a lot. She's helping with running one of the local food stalls that gives out free food to the community. So people in need have food when they need it.
That's really cool, despite the effects of your guys' abuse, that he's not letting it stop him, regardless that it make the world go fuzzy when he runs and he's still doing what he loves. If you could give your younger self advice, what would it be? And would you have any advice for other young people who might be in a similar situation that you were when you were younger?
To my younger self, after we got out, just keep one foot in front of the other. Just keeps going on. It gets better. It gets better over time. It never fades, but it gets better. Best bit of advice I can probably give.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Yeah, like it never fades, but yeah, just keep going. Thank you so much, Jacob, for taking the time today and being open and vulnerable for us and sharing your story to other young listeners.